It was a quiet evening on the wide and open plains, where the sun was slowly sinking into the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and gold. The giant rancher, a man known in the nearby town for his strength, kindness, and towering presence, was sitting on his porch after a long day's work. His life was simple, steady, and filled with the rhythm of tending cattle and repairing fences. But that calm was shattered when a small knock echoed on his wooden door. When he opened it, his heart froze. Standing there was a little girl, no older than 7, with dirt-streaked cheeks and tears streaming down her face. She looked fragile, her dress torn, and her voice shook as she whispered, "They beaten my mama, she is dying." The rancher, a man who could face storms and wild animals without fear, felt something deep stir within him. He dropped to one knee to meet her eyes, his massive frame making her seem even smaller. "Where is your mama, child?" he asked gently, though urgency burned in his tone. Without hesitation, the girl grabbed his calloused hand and led him down the dusty trail. They reached a small abandoned shack at the edge of the prairie. Inside, on a rough floor, lay her mother, bruised, battered, and barely breathing. It was clear she had suffered at the hands of cruel men who had shown no mercy. The rancher's jaw clenched, anger flickering in his eyes, but he knew anger alone would not save her. He scooped the woman into his powerful arms as if she weighed nothing and carried her back to his ranch, while the little girl hurried beside him. Through the night, he cared for the injured woman. He boiled water, dressed her wounds, and made her sip broth when she stirred awake. The little girl never left her mother's side, clutching her hand tightly, afraid she might lose her forever. The rancher, though hardened by years of solitude and struggle, felt a tenderness he had not known for years. This was no longer just about helping strangers, it was about protecting a mother and her child who had been cast aside and brutalized. When word spread in town, many were shocked. Some whispered that the rancher should not get involved, that helping them would bring trouble from the men who had done this. But he stood tall, his booming voice silencing all doubts. "A man who turns away from the cries of a child," he said, "ain't a man at all." His words carried the weight of truth, and even the hardest cowboys nodded in respect. Days passed, and the woman slowly healed under his care. The little girl began to laugh again, running through the fields with newfound joy. The rancher, once a lonely giant of the plains, now had company in his home. He taught the girl how to feed the horses, and in return, she brought life and laughter to the quiet ranch. As the woman regained her strength, gratitude filled her eyes each time she looked at the man who had saved her. What had begun with a desperate knock on the door became the start of something new. The rancher was no longer just a solitary figure against the vast horizon. He had stepped into a role far greater: protector, healer, and perhaps even the father and partner this broken family had long prayed for. In the silence of the prairie, where the winds carried whispers of courage and fate, the story of the little girl's cry and the giant rancher's heart would be remembered by all who lived there.